Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Today, I want to talk about some guidelines to helping you to build wealth. Now, the first one is going to sound kind of obvious, but you need to save every penny. Now, I know that, especially when you're getting started, saving a few dollars doesn't make any difference at all. But what will happen is it will change your outlook. It will help you to live below your means. And that's going to be another step in a minute. Now, when you get to a certain point where you can afford a down payment, I would suggest investing in real estate. Now, if you're young, and when I say young, I mean between 20 and 35, 40, if you're in that age group, there's another way that you could invest. You could, stock index funds would be one, or dividend stocks. I would prefer dividend stocks because that will give you a source of income that you'll be able to use and reinvest. But the point is that as soon as you can, you need to invest. Now, I've done videos on down payment on real estate before, and you don't need the full 20% down on your first house. When you buy real estate, most states and a lot of government programs want to encourage you to buy real estate, so they will give you grants, a grant to buy your first house. And they can vary anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 depending on the property, the state, where it's located, and many other factors. So when I bought my first property this time around, I spent $2,000 on a down payment. I did not buy a garbage piece of property. What happened was I went in, and I didn't know anything about the programs, but I went in to apply for a loan, and the guy said, "Hey, would you like to qualify for this?" And I, sure. And I had to jump through a few hoops, but they gave me about 12% of my down payment. 12% of the purchase price for my down payment. So I only had to put $2,000 down. That got me started. As soon as I earned that money back, and I was saving along the way, which took me a year, I bought another piece of property. And so on and so on. Now, the money that you get from your investment, you need to make sure that A, it cash flows. If there's no cash flow and you're getting started, you're going to have a problem. So make sure that it cash flows. And you apply your savings rules to your property just like you do to your personal savings. You save every penny. Now, when your savings gets to an emergency fund for each property, then you take the excess and you put it into an account so that you can invest again. All along this process, you need to learn to live way below your means. Now, I know that that's hard, especially when you're young, and you get that taste of money, and you get that taste of independence, and you get that feeling that you want to move up, up, up. I get it. But I'll tell you what I've told people that I have taught before. When you first get started, you need to learn to live like a college student. If you have to eat ramen for lunch, and you eat toast for breakfast, and cereal for dinner, whatever it is you have to do, if you have to ride your bike to work instead of drive, whatever it is. And I tell you the big one, especially if you're young, is a house hack. Ride somebody's couch, rent out a bedroom, The rest of your money needs to go to saving for your future. If you follow these steps, you will be well on your way to wealth within 10 years. And I've proven that, and so has Dave Ramsey. It is proven that if you do these things, this will happen. Now, you say, well, 10 years is a long time. Well, if you start when you're 25, you're going to be wealthy by the time you're 35. If you do it your way and stay in your job, where are you going to be in 10 years at 35? You're going to be still at that job. So 10 years of sacrifice will build wealth for you. Now here's one that nobody teaches on. And I tithe on all of your income. And that includes your rental income. Tithe is a biblical term that means 10%. You give 10% of everything you make. Your salary from your job or jobs, the money from side hustles, the money from income from investments, and the total on your rental income. You tithe on all of that. Because God can do more with 10% of your income than you can do with 100%. So tithe on all of it. Another biblical term that you need to apply towards your investments, especially in real estate, is to being a good steward. A good steward means the opposite of what most investors do, especially around here. They buy a crappy little property, they put a little bit of money in it, they suck as much cash out of it as they can, and put as little cash in it as they have to, and when they've sucked everything dry and it needs work, they turn around and sell it for a crappy little price. That's how most investors do it. The right way to do it, to build wealth and to help to build your portfolio, is you buy a property, you improve the property, you take care of the property, and you try to build the property. When you are being a good steward, the key phrase that you want to avoid is slumlord. Don't be a slumlord. That's how most people do it, and that's why rental real estate gets a terrible reputation. And I'll tell you, 90% of the wealth in this country is being built by real estate. People, even if they made their money somewhere else, they invest in real estate because that is the best long-term investment for wealth building, is real estate. And that's why I suggest it. Now, once you get started, it is imperative that you put together a good team. What do I mean? Well, there are going to be certain people that you're going to need throughout your journey on building wealth, and you need to get people that you can trust. That was my problem. I didn't have people that I could trust until I started paying attention. You're going to need a realtor. You're going to need a banker. You're going to need a homeowner's insurance. You're going to need a handyman. You're going to need a contractor to help you build and improve your properties. As you start to build, your team will get stronger and better and bigger. And that's the way it needs to be. You can't do it all on your own. You can when you first get started because you're only going to have one or two properties. But you will still need a realtor, you'll still need a banker. But the bigger you get, the more of your team you need, and you need to have that team be somebody that you can trust. Because when you get larger, you can't afford to spend all of your time micromanaging every little detail. Because that is a recipe for disaster. And here's one that I have learned along the way. You need to invest in the size of your income. For me, and where I started and where I'm at, I invest in single family homes. My son, on the other hand, who makes a lot more than I do from his job, he invests in larger properties. And that's how it should be. He makes more, so he should invest more. And when you invest more, you can buy more. And when you buy more, you make more. So you'll get there a lot quicker. But don't make $500,000 a year and invest in $50,000 homes. Don't do that. If you're making $500,000 a year, you need to be investing in $200,000 or $300,000 homes or properties. And if you're going to do dividend stocks, do it the same way. Do it proportionally. I talked earlier about an emergency fund for your properties. You need to have those because every property will have issues. You will need it, whether it's a roof or a plumbing or electrical, structural. At some point you will need to have that emergency fund, and you need to make sure that that happens. And here's the last tip I'm going to give you. Automate as much as you can. Automate your savings. Have your bank automatically put money into your savings account. Automate your bills. And then, because the credit rating is going to be critical, in spite of what Dave Ramsey says and teaches. So you need to, anything that's going to affect your credit rating, I would not do the whole payment, but I would do a minimum payment to make sure that nothing ever gets overlooked. Automate your loan payments. Every loan that I've got on properties comes out of the checking account every month. That way there's no mistakes. And I'll tell you why I decided to do this. I mailed a check to my bank that's in the same town, but it's across town. So I mailed a rent check to them to be deposited into my account. It took 2.5 weeks for that check to get to that bank. 2.5 weeks. Now, if you collect your rent on the 1st and your payment is due on the 10th, and it takes 2.5 weeks, just one time, to get to your bank, you now have a late fee. So have it done automatically, and if you can't collect the rent, then you take the money from your savings account for that property and you cover that loan payment. But automate as much as you can. As I said earlier, the larger you get, the more properties you have, the more bases you have to cover. It's a lot different handling 5 mortgage payments than it is to handle 1 mortgage payment. It's a lot harder to handle 20 credit card bills than it is to handle 1 credit card bill. So automate as much as you can and do everything that we have discussed today. Do it in a systematic way. And right now, we are right on target. We're 5 years in. 4 years. We are 4 years in. Actually, this month. We are 4 years into building wealth, and we've got 5 properties. We've got cash, and we're going to, the next purchase I make because of my age is going to be my duplex. Well, that's about all I wanted to talk about today. We're going to call this Tips for Building Wealth and How to Get There. You guys have a great day, a great week, and good luck in building wealth. If you follow these steps, you're 10 years away from being wealthy. Have a great day, a great week, and happy investing.